Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 227. This was an interesting episode in that it had the potential to be, I think, a very frustrating episode with what they were sort of teasing about sort of Konohamaru sort of being in a bad situation again and maybe needing to be bailed out. They didn't quite go down that road, but I also don't think the episode did anything too much to really change the general opinion, which is that in Boruto, Konohamaru is not really being treated super well in terms of how skilled he is and stuff like that. I like the general idea of the episode that post tuning exams, we're just waiting for the final sort of ceremony to make sure everyone is a tuning. But Konohamaru's off on a mission, so you can't have that sort of day before Sarada becomes tuning kind of meeting between all of the members, including Konohamaru. So they addressed the whole, while they were all getting Team 7 makeup here, and how with Sarada as a tuning, they don't necessarily need to have Konohamaru on their team anymore because she's captain level also. And that was nice in that they wanted some sort of closure on this. They wanted to talk to him about this beforehand. I wish there was maybe a little bit more setup to this, rather than just jumping into this episode and all of a sudden they're like, no, we want to talk to him beforehand. And then, I think Naruto and Shikamaru make the point that, Konohamaru, you need to be a little bit more open about your feelings. And it's like, was this ever set up that, he's not or something? I don't really remember when this was particularly a plot point. But I get what they were going for. It was all to build up to the sort of moments right towards the end of the episode where they're all able to work together sort of more on equal terms and not have Konohamaru clearly be the leader, but them support him and, that sort of thing. So in that sense, it was a solid episode, just a brief mission for the team to have to go out and help Konohamaru, but realizing that he sort of had it in hand himself. He was never really in too much danger, in that they more or less get across the idea that skill-wise, these guys, like Hyoga of 1,000 Faces, whatever his name was, he is not really all that much of a threat. The reason he is a threat and can't, I suppose, immediately be dealt with by Mirai and Konohamaru is just because he has a lot of hostages. So while Konohamaru and Mirai probably could have taken out everyone very easily, they probably would have led to injuries or deaths of many or at least a few hostages. So they wanted to deal with this in the most efficient way possible. That meant they had to put their guard down. Mirai got poisoned, Konohamaru got captured, but he was waiting the entire time for the wind to change and the mist to come in, and then in the cover of the mist, he could do it all by himself. So they sort of reveal by the end that he didn't need Team 7 to come in, it just helped to resolve it sort of even more quickly, and I suppose it doubled the sort of protection of the hostages because they were able to fight while also, Sarada helped to get all the hostages out of the village. So that was fine, but there wasn't a lot of super impressive action in that they really made it clear these guys have absolutely nothing. They are not strong enough in any way to be a threat to most ninja, really. It's literally just that they have hostages that is why they're any sort of a threat. The only real sort of, I suppose, significant jutsu of the episode was, I suppose, Boruto using transformation jutsu to sort of create a distraction until the mist finally comes in. That was kind of nice to see. Even though it didn't get super utilized throughout the episode, but it was nice to see it again, him kind of using that effectively. And then the big one was the sort of Boruto stream, but Boruto and Sarada boosting Konohamaru. That was actually pretty nice to see. In terms of at least giving Konohamaru a little bit of a highlight moment in the episode, that he gets to land the finishing blow on Hyoga of 1,000 Faces. Fair enough. They do have the kind of an emotional moment sort of afterwards where kind of Konohamaru is crying, and this definitely sort of like is a nice moment because, especially if you've watched all of Boruto, and especially the earlier section where it wasn't as focused on the manga and had lots of original content. Um, that section when the team was pretty young, the team had just formed. Like you had a decent amount of episodes where the team dynamic with Konohamaru was got across pretty well. So him seeing the team begin to move on. Sarda is a tuning now. She's the new captain. He's still got to, I suppose, go on missions with them occasionally, like Kakashi often did with Team 7 and so on. But um, he now realizes that they've got to the point where Mitsuki and Boruto, if not for sort of basically technicalities during the thing, probably should have been made tunings. They're all tuning level basically, and he realizes that you know things are kind of changing here, and it was pretty emotional. So that was good. I like that they had the picture, the full sort of Team 7 picture, and had that referenced. A lot of what they were sort of going for with the Sarada, Sakura, and Sasuke scene, where by the end of it, I think it's Sakura looks at the picture of herself, Naruto, and Sasuke with Kakashi, and how they had to deal with sort of a similar situation, and they're helping Sarada through this. So that was a nice sort of kind of scene with the Uchiha family. Especially seeing kind of Sasuke be the one to go in, that was kind of nice. But beyond that, like I said, it was a pretty just like to the point episode. You saw exactly what they were going for quite early on in the episode, and they just did it pretty well. I maybe wished at the end there was a little bit more of a fight rather than just going for the dynamic where like, yeah, these guys are effectively useless. It worked for what they were trying to do, I guess, but it also feels a bit weird that they had to construct such a dynamic just to sort of get across that, oh, Konohamaru is sort of in threat, but he's not really. When we just want to see Konohamaru like go all out and maybe get a big victory. That's sort of the level we expect him to be at, because this is another episode that sort of puts him in a sort of similar position to Kakashi. Now, I don't think we necessarily have to say Konohamaru's the same level as Kakashi, but he's a Saratobi clan member, trained by Naruto, so he has some of Naruto's jutsu. He is a Jonin, so there's sort of a bit more of an expectation for like that. He's a bit above your average Jonin, and we rarely really get to see that outside of he can use the Rasengan. But that's just them positioning him as always. He is the kind of relatively strong guy you can beat in fights without too much happening, even though people want the exact opposite. So there's still that frustration with the episode, even though they did what they could to not make it super serious. But that was the majority of the episode. I like that Naruto did approve Team 7 going on this mission to back up Konohamaru. I like that confidence that even though Sarada has like just been announced as a tuning, he's willing to let them go and realizes the importance of this on an emotional level to the team. that was pretty nice to see. Other than that, like Mirai was in the episode, she got healed by Sakura, but that was basically just meant to set up how they know Konohamaru is in danger. We didn't actually get any real character moments as such with her. Like, it was nice to see Kurenai again. Like, they had all the right characters in the right positions throughout the episode. Mitsuki, revealed that he did a lot of work with the snake while the mist was up. But ultimately, Team 7 didn't have to use like any advanced jutsu. This was not really much of a fight or anything like that. So yeah, we're pretty much, I think, just like we're locked in, I guess, for a while now to getting anime original content, which I'm fine with, because I don't think the immediate next manga content is the strongest. Sure, we get to see more of Code, but the actual like plot with the characters is I'm still yet to be convinced by it, I suppose. So hopefully the anime here can use this, I suppose, couple of months where they're at least going to have new content to build up some new dynamics. And they look to be doing that almost straight away with the next episode being about Kawaki doing some sort of test missions with some of the other teams to test if he's good enough to be a Geni. So it looks like he's going with Denki, Iwabe, and Metal on some sort of a basic mission, and we'll see how strong he is. He also looks like he does some target practice in the middle of this, so I don't know what they're going to go for here, because they have to make it clear that like he's skilled enough to be a Genin, but teammate wise he probably like has to be more associated with Team 7, which is more of I think the dynamic they want to go for. So that'll be interesting to see. Like, is this just going to be a little bit of an arc where, using the fact that we have a few new tuning, he can actually be the fourth man on like Hoki's team. He can be with Wasabi's team, and so on. He can take a little bit of a test mission with every single one of the teams, and because he's one of the more standout characters, that will make for, I suppose, a decent episode to see how exactly that all goes. Now that we know a lot of those minor characters better because of the tuning exams, I think that will make it overall better. So, yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with this, because the manga doesn't have like too much detail surrounding, Kawaki and his thoughts on necessarily being a shinobi, and we'll, I suppose, get that here, which is definitely a good dynamic, I think, to go for. But yeah, that's everything I want to talk about here. Not the most eventful episode, but I do appreciate the emotion, the dynamic they were trying to go for with the sort of the advancement of Boruto, Mitsuki, and Sarada, and how the dynamic that we've had in Boruto up to now, that Konohamaru is their captain, isn't necessarily the case anymore. That's nice to see. But in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.